Welcome to Campaign 2025 in Mansfield. Today we are talking about the city council candidates. Place 5 in the studio today is Todd Simmons. Welcome to About Mansfield.
Well, I appreciate the invite.
You are you're a first-time candidate.
I am.
Why don't we take 60 seconds or so? We're not bound by time, by the way. So your answers don't. I'm not going to click you at 60.
Okay.
All right. So take some time. Tell the audience, who is Todd Simmons and why are you running for city council?
And it's a good question. Some people think I just decided one Friday morning to go turn some paperwork in and run. It's just not the case. I've thought about running against Larry Brosh.
Yeah.
One time. He's been on there for several years.
Yes.
I've thought about running for school board, and it just, the timing wasn't right. Had friends and family suggest possibly it wasn't the right time, and this time it just felt different, and I felt like the timing was right, and so I decided to go ahead and turn my paperwork in. But Steve, I volunteered for the school district, the city, the hospital, several committees with the hospital. I was on the chamber board for 3 years, served as chairman 1 year. Kiwanis Club for 19 years.
Wow. Recently
joined the Rotary. So it's just in my nature and my blood, my character to give back. I've always done it. Even in Shreveport, I served on a couple different boards over there for some counseling center and things like that. So it just seemed like the next kind of natural step to go ahead and put myself out there for city council.
And that moment when you described that moment where you said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to apply to run for city council place 5 in this special election.
Funny thing is, a lot of people don't realize, I'm a financial advisor, and a lot of people don't realize how regulated our industry is. So I had to get approval from my compliance department to even submit the paperwork to be able to run. And that took about a week. So from the time I decided to run to the time I submitted my paperwork was several business days before that approval came through. And I was kind of pushing them because I wanted to get it done on a Friday for some reason. I just thought it'd be a great way to go into the weekend.
Sure.
But I'm excited about it. Even with some of the stuff going on, social media and all the naysayers and ne'er-do-wells out there stirring the pot, I'm still excited because I think I'm the best candidate for the job. I've been on the EDC for 2.5 years, and I've seen some of the projects that we finally are turning dirt on come to fruition, and I think we're headed in the right direction. We're looking through the windshield, not the rearview mirror.
What are some of the top issues? Let's take 3. What are the top 3 issues facing Mansfield right now?
Well, of course, the number one issue is apartments.
Yeah.
And I interviewed with Arlington Board of Realtors the other day, and that was their first question. I said, we need more apartments in Mansfield. They said, okay, interview's over. I said, just kidding, just kidding. I think we probably have plenty of apartments in Mansfield. My understanding is the capacity is they're about 95% full right now. Mm-hmm. And if you've ever taken a Economics 101 class, you know about supply and demand. So to me, 95% is pretty full. But I know we still have some under construction that'll probably change those numbers a little bit.
Right.
I think a lot of people want to blame all the cars on the road on the apartments in Mansfield. And we were at a meeting the other day, and Jason Moore put a slide up, and it showed within a 10-minute drive of the shops at Broad, over 124,000 people live. Well, there's only 87 to 90 in Mansfield, so there's 30-ish plus.
People are coming to town.
They're coming here to shop and eat and play. And
to the listeners, Jason Moore is the Director of Economic Development for the city of Mansfield.
Yeah, that's correct. So that's number one. I know the apartments are easy to pick on because they're not pretty, 5,000 square foot single family structures.
Right.
And I've always said, if anybody asks, I'm not going to give you a blanket no on any project until I review it and we determine whether it's going to be good for the city of Mansfield.
Right.
I just don't see how you can come out and say I'm voting no on this or that without really doing an in-depth review and see if it's going to be financially beneficial to the city.
I asked for 3 issues. You gave me 1, but tell you what, the hot button topics on my list are probably on your list of 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So let's. I'm just gonna throw this out there and let you run with it. Hot button topic number 1: downtown growth.
Downtown growth. So I grew up in a small town, much smaller than Mansfield, and our downtown area was one of the main areas. I mean, I can remember going to watch King Kong versus Godzilla at the Sabine Theater in 1979, and just having that kind of thriving downtown area is so important to a smaller community. And I know we're probably not considered a small town anymore, but still having that place where people can go have a meal, do some shopping, maybe grab a drink, just socialize. Mm-hmm. It's very, very important for a community like Mansfield. And we have to be really smart. I mean, you mentioned growth, not just downtown, but everywhere. As you know, we're running out of empty dirt. We're about 22% left.
Yep.
And we have to be smart about what we choose to come to Mansfield. And right now, we're a very attractive community for companies and businesses that want to be here. We've got the 360, 287 intersection. We've got the airport 30 minutes away. Fort Worth and Dallas are right here. Mansfield's a very attractive place, and it shows by some of the things that we have coming. We've got crystal windows and doors. We've got super studios. Like it or not, we've got the soccer stadium. And I think it's going to be great. That's
one of my hot button topics.
Okay. Well,
so hold your opinion on that.
Okay. So growth is important, but we have to pick and choose some good community partners that are going to have manufacturing, headquarters, good paying jobs, bring people in here that are going to buy houses that can live in Mansfield. As you know, most people leave Mansfield every day to go work somewhere else. My wife and I are blessed that we don't have to do that. We have our jobs here in town. That's what I think we should focus on.
All right, then let's get to hot button topic number 2. And you mentioned it, the Mansfield Stadium.
Yeah. So I'm sure you know the Hunt family's involved with the soccer team.
Sure.
And I think by any measure you would say that they've been a very successful family in the United States. I mean,
well, starting with Lamar Hunt and the Kansas City Chiefs,
they're not eating pinto beans and pork and beans. So
true.
I think when we have an opportunity to partner with somebody like that, you have to take advantage. And it's not just soccer. They've already said they're going to have over 100 events a year at that facility.
Right.
That's going to give us so many things to do around here. They've talked about rugby. I don't know anything about rugby, but I wouldn't be opposed to going down there and watching a game or two because it's a very athletic sport.
What about lacrosse?
Lacrosse, I love lacrosse. College lacrosse is one of the fastest, most impressive games I've ever watched. Those guys are so athletic and fast. They said they're going to have rodeo.
I was going to say, what about a rodeo?
Yeah, concerts. Since the lot closed, we have little small live music venues, but we have to go to Arlington now to get at the Levitt to get a full-blown concert.
Right.
And I'm excited. We love listening to live music just like everybody does probably, and I'm excited about it. And right next to it is High Five. We don't have anything like that in Mansfield. Grand Prairie's kicking our tail up that 161 corridor. They've got a lot of destination entertainment venues up there.
Yeah.
So we kind of joke around, tell people we don't like leaving 76063. If we could stay here, we would. But there's just some things you have to do. If you want to do, you have to leave until we get them here.
That's true. Hot button talk number 3, the new city hall along with its canals.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
When I think of canals, I think of San Antonio. Mm-hmm. Not my favorite place to have visited. I think it's cool and interesting, a little different. And then Las Colinas up there, just north of us.
All right.
We used to visit there before we moved to Texas, and I can remember those canals. So I really think we have to work on the details of that project, make sure that it doesn't turn into something that's a maintenance problem or smells bad or looks bad. I think it's got potential. I have heard we need a new city hall because it's overcrowded over there. I think it's a good deal. The swap with the school board, especially with the Geyer Commons coming in over there, that's going to take up a lot of their room from the school board. So I think having City Hall down there with the growth that's going to come around it is another good project. We're going to have some medical office building. We're going to have some retail, shopping, and there may very well be some multifamily built on top of some of those structures. I mean, if you've ever been to Clear Fork in Fort Worth, you have some fantastic shopping over there. Well, if you just avert your eyes up about 45 degrees, people live above those buildings.
My wife was just there 2 days ago.
We love going over there.
Yeah.
There's a couple of restaurants that we really like over there, but there's people living above those. So we just have to be smart about how we grow.
Todd, if you're elected, what will success look like for you in your first year of office?
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
That's why I'm the host.
I feel like there are some extremes. If you remember school, you remember the bell curve when
Sure.
you measured things?
Uh-huh.
And I feel like there's some extremes on either end of our politics in Mansfield, and they're kind of the noisy, smaller extremes. And if we could get those folks closer to the middle and try to get – I told somebody the other day, I said, if we were all pulling the same direction in Mansfield, this thing would be a lot more fun.
Right.
And the arguing and fighting and divisiveness, that would be one of my main goals. I'm not sure I can do it by myself. I think it's going to take a full effort by all the city council and the school board for that matter. But that would be one thing that I would shoot for is just try to have a little more cohesiveness in the community. And I guess the other thing I would shoot for is try to get at least one more major manufacturer with a corporate headquarters. That'd be a good goal to have, I think.
What's the biggest challenge you anticipate facing if elected, and how will you handle it?
I think we have to work on our road, streets, and drainage infrastructure. We're building a road. We're building a road behind the hospital right now. It's going to cut over to Kroger. I think that's going to help take some of the pressure off of Broad Street. But I think we need more thoroughfares like that to try to take some of the pressure off the main roads in Mansfield. And then I also think that we need to make sure that our public safety folks are making a good competitive salary from top to bottom. Because I think from the information I've seen, when we start moving up the ladder, there's some other cities that might pay a little bit more than we do, and we're losing some folks. So streets and drainage, water and sewer. I worked at the water and sewer department in Shreveport, Louisiana for a few years, so that's a little special for me. And police and fire.
Let's talk about the younger generation. How do we get the next generation of leaders involved in the city of Mansfield and then with the city council?
That's actually another great question. My son, by the way, is 32 years old today. So today's his birthday. You know, another interesting slide that Jason Moore put up the other day was the population graph. And he had it from 0 to, I don't know how high it went, but just call it 100.
Okay.
And that graph was actually almost the opposite of the bell curve. It shrunk inside in that mid-20s to mid-30s area. And so part of the issue we have in Mansfield is affordable housing for that younger generation to be able to live in Mansfield. And as you know, if you don't live in Mansfield, you can't be on city council. And I don't think you can serve on any of the committees unless you live in Mansfield. The school district's different because they're twice the size of Mansfield proper.
Right.
But that's one issue we really need to work on, is that missing middle housing inventory, that 200 to 400 range, because our average house in Mansfield now is probably 5 or 6 and the new houses are 8. I mean, that's a big note to cover when you're 25 to 35 years old.
And it seems like when a high school graduate goes off to college, they're leaving Mansfield. The question is, how do we get them back?
That's a great question. And I think that business growth that we talked about earlier, having some destination entertainment venues, believe it or not, that makes people want to be here, and then that missing middle housing. Our daughter's a nurse, and she and her husband had a plan of moving to California, and she was going to be a travel nurse down the coast of California, and then eventually come home. Well, they got out there and fell in love with it, and they haven't come back. And our son's just kind of traveled around from Denver to Salt Lake, and now he's in Arkansas at Fayetteville. But again, I would prefer that they lived here, because I like to be able to get my hands on my family when I need to, and I just can't do that when they're that far away.
What's your plan to improve communication and transparency? Transparency seems to be a hot topic on social media. Transparency and communication between the city council and Mansfield residents. I
think that if you want to find out information, the information is out there. I know you can go look at any council agenda, any committee meeting agenda that we've had for years and years on the archives on the city website. I know the MEDC, Economic Development Board just redid our website, and all the projects that are under construction are on there. You can go to city council meetings and listen to those meetings. All the minutes are out there. All the agendas are out there. There's at least one joint meeting with the city council, EDC, parks, and planning and zoning. And that's a public meeting. We just had that a couple of months ago, and I think we had 2 citizens there. Oh, wow. So if you want to know what's going on, you have to put forth a little bit of effort. So the answer is, I don't know what else we can do some kind of newsletter or podcast or –
Sure.
I think the information is out there if people are willing to do a little bit of work for it. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you on that.
What sets you apart from your opponents?
We talked about it earlier. I do have the experience, the volunteerism, the education. I've been on the EDC for 2.5 years. I've helped with the school board. I just feel like, and since my business is here, we've lived here for 24 years, I feel like I have a good feel for what's happening in Mansfield, what has happened in Mansfield, and what's coming to Mansfield. So I feel like I've got the city experience from the city of Shreveport as well, working 7 years in a municipal government. So I just think I have the experience and the qualifications that'll help me be a good team member for Mansfield City Council.
One more serious question, then we'll lighten things up.
Okay.
What is the one misconception about city government that you'd like to clear up for the voters?
I think there are some people out there that believe that our city government is a big monstrosity, and people may not be working as hard as they should, and I don't think that's the case at all. I think our city staff and the team over there, I think they're out there working hard every day trying to make the best decision they can for the city of Mansfield. And I think the council has given them the ability to do that. And, really, we're at a 35-year low on the tax rate. Mm-hmm. And, I hear we need to quit spending so much money. I'm like, well, the money's coming in. They've reduced the tax rate. I think we're doing a pretty good job of managing that.
All right, let's lighten things up.
Okay.
Every school in town has a mascot. You get the Eagles, you get the Tigers, you get the Wolves, and so on and so on. If the Mansfield City Council had its own mascot, what would it be?
It's not a fair question because my dad graduated from LSU Law School when I was in the first grade, Tigers.
Tigers, right.
I graduated from Manny High School, Fighting Tigers. Mm-hmm. My kids went to Mansfield High, Tigers. And Mary Orr, Tigers and Tigers. It'd have to be a Tiger.
The Mansfield City Council Tigers.
Yep, that's right. Fighting Tigers.
Oh, Fighting Tigers.
Or maybe I should say the non-fighting Tigers, since we're trying to make this thing more friendly.
There you go. Todd, if someone wanted to reach out or wanted to know more information about Todd Simmons, candidate for Place 5, mm-hmm. Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have a website? Yep. Do you have a TikTok? What's going on with Todd?
I've got Facebook.
Yeah.
Elect Todd Simmons for City Council. So we've got Facebook. We've got Instagram. I've got email, electtodsimmons@gmail.com. I just met with folks over at Studio 063, and mm-hmm. we're going to get some social media stuff working here in the next week or so. We're trying to make a hard push here for the last 6 weeks and really get some good content out there to let people know exactly what I'm about and who I am.
If you want to reach out to him, again, email is electtodsimmons@gmail.com, and do a search for him on Facebook or social media to find out who Todd Simmons is. Todd, is there a question that you thought that I would ask? And if so, what is the question and what is the answer to that?
No, I figured you would cover just about everything. I feel like some of the comments out there on social media are a little personal and catty and really irrelevant to what we're trying to get done here. And I just refuse to get involved in that. I mean, somebody posted the other day, of course anonymously, that my friends should tell me to get out of the race. And so I responded, we still live in a democracy, and the Mansfield citizens ought to be able to evaluate and vote for the candidate they feel is best for the job. And then I posted my credentials on that card I gave you, and immediately the comments got turned off so nobody could see any of that. So it's just stuff like that, and I know that's part of the game. That's part of politics. I get it.
Right.
I'm just not going to get involved in it. I mean, I'll tell you who I am, what I'm about. If somebody wants to know, all they have to do is ask. I'm an open book. There's a lot of people out there saying stuff that I've never talked to them, ever. So how do you know somebody if you've never had a conversation with them?
electtodsimmons@gmail.com. That's an email address. There's a phone number in here. Can I give that?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Phone number is 682-261-9007. Again, 682-261-9007. I would assume they can text you at that number?
Yep, that's a cell phone. So
there you go.
Good.
Todd, pleasure having you here. Good to see you.
I appreciate it. It's good to see you too.
And good luck on May 3rd.
Thank you very much.